us. We're just talking. It's just... Keep doing that.
I agree.
You agree?
I agree. I don't even know what you said.
Oh, okay. I
What'd you
agree
say?
too.
Yeah, I agree as well.
I don't
We
know
all
what I
agree?
said, but I'm sure I agree with it.
It's glad to hear that we're all in agreement here.
Right, yeah. You know, it's good that we're going to start this off on the same page.
Okay, now imagine if we weren't on the same page, though.
Oh.
We were on two
Well, what
different
book are you in?
Two different
What
pages.
book
There's-
am I in?
There's three of them.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting question.
Out of these books, which book are you in?
Which book am I in?
Yeah.
I'm probably in none of those books.
Oh, okay.
Just
but out
like
of these books, which
Verbal,
one is
like
closest?
written speaking, I am not in any of those books. If I
Written
am in
speaking.
any of those books, I need to talk to the author. But what?
I feel like you're there. And
Out
the
of
books are
out of the topics of these books, which one are you in?
Out of the topics of these books,
What are the
which
imprint
one am I
ones?
in? We have one that's about architecture.
Oh,
the other one that's
facts.
probably about architecture. One that I
Right.
see the word city. Another one that's geometric folding algorithms, which wait, what's that last one? Environment. I see $3,000, and our planet is in
I
peril.
feel like it's $29.99.
I'm in this one that says this book is not actually a book. It's a collection of fragments on scattered topics produced in different periods of my life.
So it's a book.
Yeah, it's a book.
This
Yeah,
book
it's-
is not a
yeah,
book.
it's a
They
book.
did say it was a book in the first sentence. This book.
That's so true. What the heck? Why are they lying to us?
Why did they make it like that? That's so
That's
confusing.
gaslighting.
That's literally so stupid.
Yes.
I should call this thing. It wouldn't have been that much harder. Granted, it's more letters.
What's a synonym for book? Magazine?
No.
Like a really, really thick
Novel?
magazine? Novel?
Bible.
But a novel's kind of book, though.
It's a subgenre of a book.
So it's still a book.
Yes. It's
Mm.
under the genus book.
Genus.
Yeah.
I'm
What's a
pretty
genus?
genius.
It's
Me.
like it's
You?
an overarching category of species. I don't think you're a specific example of a species, right? You know the whole categorization where it's like you have like the kingdom,
Kingdom.
and then
Order.
the genus and the species and then like the phyla or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you learn about that in elementary school?
In elementary school? Probably not.
It's one of those things that you learn in elementary school and then it never comes up again.
Well, I do remember collecting rocks. So
Okay.
I guess
love
if you were to
rocks.
ask me what an igneous rock is, I'd be like, that's hot.
So you collected rocks. Did you make things out of the rocks?
No.
Oh.
We did get egg cartons to collect the rocks with. Though.
Dude, everybody did that. I have so
Yes!
many of them in my room. Dude.
Did you make things with the
Good
egg
stuff.
cartons?
No.
Well, that's unfortunate. I was going to use that as my segue because good after morning and welcome to On the Dome, a podcast about how non-expert college-age youth think. And today, the reason I was going to try and use that as a segue, we're going to talk about making things. And I have two exciting makers right here. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Malachi. I'm a maker, but in mind. Yes.
Nice.
And
I'm learning how to make in hand. All right. So
You've made a lot of things.
I've made a lot of things, but I haven't made as much as I want to make. I gotta make it happen.
You got to make it happen.
I gotta
Ah.
make it happen.
You
That's
got to
fine.
make making happen.
Yes, and I'm getting there.
Right.
I think maybe.
course.
I don't know. Hopefully, I'm making progress.
You're making
Y'all killing
making
me.
it happen. You're making happen.
I want to
Happen.
make making happen, but I need to make progress in order to make making happen.
Yeah. So you need to make
He's making progress and
making
making
happen.
Can happen.
Yes.
Okay. Glad we got that sorted out. Anyways, would you like to introduce
All right,
yourself?
I'm Gerardo, and I have not made many things, but hopefully I will make things happen by
Yes.
making progress and making things happen. Yeah,
Look at us making things happen.
we will make things happen.
Yes.
Eventually.
Eventually. I feel like you guys are underselling yourselves. I feel like you guys make a lot of things.
Depends on the make
Okay.
and model.
I make jokes.
You do make jokes. You're making a podcast. You're
That's
making
true.
a podcast.
I am making a
You're-
podcast.
You're regularly making a podcast.
I'm regularly making a podcast.
Yes.
That is true.
You're almost regularly making a podcast. I think regularly is 3.
I'm irregularly making a podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
How's that then?
It's been fun. I
Yes.
like my segment. It was nice. Good times.
Yes. Yes.
But you are the audio person on the podcast, so you are always part of making the podcast happen. You're making the podcast happen.
Yes, I'm the guy that sits in the corner of the room with headphones on and tries not to make noise. That's it. I just sit there and listen, and that's all I do. But it's important because you want to make sure that the audio's good. You want to make sure that the sounds For example, if a car drove by out there in the street like it just did, it wasn't picked up by the microphone. So, yeah.
If you like the audio on our podcasts, if you think it sounds clean, it's because of Malachi. We couldn't do it without him.
No, it's because of technology and the microphone that we're using. That is.
Yeah, but you're the one
Hidden.
who knows how to operate it.
I am, but the person who presses the buttons that make it turn on. It
You need
is
someone to press
the
those
instrument
buttons.
that does all of the work.
But is it the instrument or the hands that wield it that truly make the instrument a good tool?
It's definitely the hands, let me tell you.
Yeah,
I mean, a screwdriver
of
without a
us.
user is just a stick, isn't it?
exactly. A screwdriver without a user is just a stick.
That was deep.
Yeah.
I'm so moved.
Well, we're the users. We're the makers.
True.
So, making.
Yes,
What?
making.
Do you want to make most in the near future?
So I meant to make this over last summer, but then I forgot about it, and then it just never happened. But like, so there's like these like rectangle like square things, and they have like little paths, and you can like put a marble in there, right? And then just like you just do the path, and then it falls in the hole, and you win, right? But I want to like use like syringes to like actuate it, and like make it move so you don't like tilt it, cause like that's lame. But like if you use syringes and like some fluid, I don't know, it's blue. I saw it in Walmart once, but you just like press it or like unsqueeze the syringes and it just like moves it, and I thought it was really cool. So I want to make one of those.
Oh, so like it tips the marble maze?
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah.
We can make
That's
that.
doable.
It's definitely doable. I just
Yeah.
forgot about it, so I didn't make it, and I'm like thinking about it, like, oh shoot, that would be nice. So yeah.
That would
Yeah. Are there going to be little like, oh, this? I'm just thinking about all of the different directions in which you could take that. This is going to distract me now.
Oops.
Anyways, what do you want to make?
What do I
in
wanna
your
make?
future?
A GitHub.
A GitHub?
Yes, that's step 1. Step 2, figure out how to use said GitHub. And step 3 is, I'm not sure yet. I want to do something that's related to electronics. I feel like I just kind of gave myself the small project of making like a display wind turbine, but like with a tiny solar panel, so it would just like be passively spinning in my room as like a decorative feature. I didn't find the time to do that, of course, but that's still something I
Not
want to
yet.
do. Not yet. Yes.
In the future. I think the one thing that I've been wanting to make for a while is, you know, the Lucas VR gloves.
I'm gonna pretend that I could do.
So Lucas VR is actually a dorm mate of ours. He basically has built these VR gloves where it's open source, so you can buy the materials for, I think his cheaper version of it is for like $22 per glove. You can buy the materials, 3D print the parts, buy the Arduinos, he has the wiring diagrams and everything, and you can build your own VR gloves that have, they have like the badge tags that are like little circles, and they have the string that like, if you pull it and you let it go, it comes back in.
Mm-hmm.
Those little
Oh
spinny
yeah, I
things.
love those things. Yeah.
They're extremely distracting. Anything
Oh,
that
yeah.
has them, he's like, that's what you're
You-
focusing on. So he used that idea, and he has strings on your fingers that connect to the tips, such that when you're picking something up like a ball or a sphere in VR, and your hand hits where the ball would be, it pulls the strings, so you can't move further than that.
Oh.
So I want to build those, and it's open source, so I can build them. And he's my neighbor. He lives next to me, like his room is next to mine. So I want to build them.
That's cool.
You know, I thought it was the exact opposite, so that like it used the strings to detect the position that your hand was in, and it would replicate it inside of VR. But doing it backwards results in such a cooler effect.
Yeah. I mean, it also has like hand tracking, so you can see where your hands are in VR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of does both. It's super cool. It's so cool. So I want to build those, but that's gonna be so hard.
You know,
Stop.
What?
ah,
Stop.
no. But anyways,
Oh,
No, like it stopped.
yes. It
It
stopped.
stopped filming.
It stopped filming. I thought for a second I thought you said stop.
No,
I
it's
was like, he
it's
really
not.
didn't like my use of the word intangible.
Baby. W.
Okay.
And we're back. Love that. Technical difficulties yet again. Honestly, iCloud storage is confusing.
I don't
I
understand
wouldn't
it.
know.
I don't get it. It makes no sense.
Do you guys both not have iPhones?
I
You have an iPhone.
I used to have an Android until
Mhm.
February, and then I got my fancy iPhone 13. And
Ooh.
yeah.
How's the experience been comparing them?
I like iMessage. But it's relatively similar, I'd say. It's not. It's like, wow, crazy. Yeah. I just get blue messages now instead of green.
No, it's very important.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you like having an Android? Or
Yeah.
whatever you have?
Works?
It works?
Gets the job done. I like having an all apps button.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so nice.
What does the all apps button do?
It pulls up all of the apps that you have installed on your phone. It's an organizational thing, so you actually have like a desktop, like on a computer,
Right.
and then you hit the Windows key, which is the equivalent of an all apps button on your phone, and it just pulls up all of the apps. It's so nice.
Like
Which
all
me-
on one screen?
Yeah.
Like a list?
So yeah, you can scroll it, you can swipe it,
You can
and
search
it's
it.
yeah, and it's so nice because now your home screen wallpaper, you can see it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can put like a really
I
cool
feel like I'm
design
not
getting
getting
on it,
the
and then
full
like,
experience because I'm not looking at it.
Okay.
well, you
actually,
know,
I gotta
We're
make
not
a
pulling
point
out
here.
our phones, but
The most important loss, in my opinion,
Mhm.
is the close all open apps.
yeah.
That button is gone. It's not on my new phone, and I have to swipe a million times to close all the apps. It's not the same.
every time I get my hands on my mom's phone, the first thing I do is I double click and I open all the screen where it's all the little tabs,
just
and I just swipe for, swear to God, 5 minutes.
Well, I'm like that now too, because like there's no close all buttons. I'm too lazy to like do all of them.
Well, I feel like
So
I
much
don't
work.
open that many apps now because of that. Because since I have to like see how many apps I have open every time to like go and find my old apps, I just close a bunch of them to like
Ah,
keep myself organized. I can't leave them all open. Bothers me too much.
I see.
No, it's not good. Anyways, I want to make those VR gloves, but I feel like it's just going to be such a commitment. I'm going to do it, but I feel like I want to wait for a summer.
Well, lucky for you.
Summer is in 2 weeks.
I want to. I feel like I always, right before summer, I'm like all these different things I want to like
Yeah.
do and make,
Yeah.
and then
And then summer happens, you're like, oh, what? What am I supposed to be doing?
Thing-
I know doing things not no, but it's hard. My to make list is really long. How do you find time to make things?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
You either do or you don't.
You either do or you don't. That's
No,
very
that's
true.
that's not how it works.
I
at all.
usually end up not doing things I should do to like make something,
Mhm.
and then I just I bite the cost and I pay it later.
It's like an obsession thing. It's like when you find something, it has to be like you sacrifice other things to make things.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you sacrifice making to other things.
Yeah, I'm not sacrificing making stuff.
It's too important.
I can understand that. Yeah.
But I want to make more stuff. I feel like it's hard to organize time to make things. It's hard to schedule making.
Yeah, because you never know how long it's gonna take.
So then are most of your projects like spontaneous?
I'd say. There was one that was like structured, I guess. Well, all right. So there's two parts to it. So the most spontaneous one, I'd say, was over COVID, summer. It was like June or so, and it was my parents' anniversary. So my dad like woke me up one day at like 6 a.m. and he was like, "Yo, we're going to Home Depot." I'm like, "Shit, I'm up." So we went to Home Depot and we bought a crap ton of wood, and then we just like. We had like this Mercedes SUV, so it was not equipped to bring the wood back. So it was like poking out the windows, and I was like holding it down, hoping it didn't hit the dash. We drove back, and then we spent the next 10 hours that day, and then 10 hours the next day, and we built an entire like swing, like wood swing for my mom,
That's
and then like painted it and stuff, and it was really nice. And that was the most spontaneous thing I've made. But then also that summer, my dad and I wanted to like you like reuse things, like recycle like wine glasses and things. So we would go to our favorite wings place, Wing King, in downtown Fort Mill, South Carolina, and we like be like, yo, y'all got empty wine glasses, or like not wine glasses, like wine bottles or like liquor and stuff, and they're like, yeah, and so they like get us a box like every Thursday or so, and then we take it back and then we'd make lamps.
Oh.
And that was fun.
I feel like I've seen this. Do you have an Instagram for
I
this?
do have an Instagram, Rewind 2020. Go follow it. We don't post anymore because we moved and we don't do that anymore. But like, we have some inventory, so if you want it, you can have it. But yeah, those took a lot of time. It was just like on weekends we would like do that. My dad was like doing that all the time, but I would only like do it like every now and then because I had school and stuff. But yeah, that was more organized than all the other things I've made.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna be so mostly my turn.
Talk, Malachi. Talk.
Fine. So I guess in terms of spontaneity and making things, I think everything of what I've made has been kind of spontaneous. So the story goes that I'm at X age, and my brother for Christmas gets an erector set, which is like Legos, but like a bunch of metal pieces, screws, nuts, all that. And so I see it and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Can I like get in on that? And my brother's like, no. And I'm like, understandable, have a good day. Fast forward a few months, it shows up in the basement with like a model crane, but like a few broken pieces. And I'm like, so you're not using it anymore. Can I like, and he was like, yes. And I'm like, yes. So, from there, I think just like consecutive Christmases, I eventually build up an inventory of what I call scrap metal, where I just impulsively make things. I think that's where I initially made like model cars, or I think I made a tiny crane once. But from there, once I was done with like making the scripted or either instructed things from the kit, I just kind of have it. And if I found a problem in the house, then I'd try to make something for it. For example, junior year of high school, I was like, I watch a lot of gaming YouTube channels. What if I make one? So, what do? I look around the house for a microphone, any microphone, and I end up with a Guitar Hero microphone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's made by Logitech. It works. So from there, I was like, I have this microphone, and it looks like a microphone, but I don't have a stand. So then I proceed to take like plastic parts from a Vex Meccano set, along with a few of the metal parts from the Erector set, and just like some torn up cloth, and I just try to make my own like set stand. I think I also used a paperweight. And the interesting thing was it worked, which is very surprising to me. But then I got an actual microphone for Christmas. It's like, now I have to dismantle it. So all of the things that I've made have just been kind of impulsive. I want to make this thing, but I don't know how to plan it out, so I'm just going to start and keep going.
Yes.
And so it usually just builds from there.
Okay, 2 things. Fun fact, the Guitar Hero microphone was the microphone on which we filmed the first podcast.
Oh yeah.
Which
So-
causes me great stress.
That's hilarious.
It was fun. And that was also a MacGyvered stand. Do you remember? It was that little toy that we stuck it through and we like weighed it down with the table.
It's my original mic stand.
Full circle
It goes
moment.
full circle.
And the other thing is, I feel like I've never, well, maybe not never, but most of the time when I want to make something, I don't know how to make it. I have no skills on how to make it. I like every project I start, I have no idea that, like, I have no ability to finish it, and then I just learn on the job. But and then it devours my life, and then suddenly I've spent 30 hours on it. What's the longest you've spent on something like that, where it's just like suddenly you're obsessed with it?
I wouldn't
You're
say it
making
was.
a facial expression that tells me it's going to be a long time.
In terms of like a physical thing that I was making,
Anything you're making. The intangible counts, right?
The intangible counts, right?
Lab
yes.
10.
Lab 10. Lab 10 never got finished.
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to think about this one. I'm gonna have to think about this one.
Okay,
I'd
you think
say-
about it.
So you remember that the MIT class sponsored thing I was telling you about?
Right, yeah.
So for the back half, which was not environmental sustainability, for like the engineering design,
So this was a class you took in high school.
yes,
That MIT
junior
sponsored.
year, sponsored by MIT, because the previous year a team won the Invent Team, whatever that is, competition. But yeah, so the second half of the year, second semester, we had to like come up with our own projects, and so a friend of mine, Edward Feldman, call him Teddy, he's the GOAT. He was like, I was talking to my uncle, and he was telling me about how there's safety issues in like construction sites, and how we could like automate that with like drones. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So then like a group of like four of us, we decided to build a drone from scratch, like no like kit or anything. So that did not go well, but we put a whole semester into it. So I'd say a few hundred hours, me personally plus everybody else individually, and then COVID happened, so we never finished. But it was quite the project. It also never took off because he tried to finish it over the summer, like just like in his house. It was the funniest video I ever saw. It was like his pan from the drone to him on his laptop, and he's like, all right, 3, 2, 1. He hits go. It pans to the drone, and it does not move. The propellers don't even spin, and then it just pans back to him, and he's just like staring at his laptop, like, what the hell? No, that was a good video. I wish I could find that, but yeah, quality stuff.
Okay. So after some thought, probably a Minecraft house, which is very interesting because
Oh.
every Minecraft house I've built was a 25 to 50 by 25 to 50 by 50 to 100 block. It wasn't even like a stylistic house. It was just a block.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was the repetition of building it.
I guess, for whatever reason. My mind was just like,
What material did you use? Say dirt.
I did not use it. I used wood, which was a questionable move. I'm thinking of a different thing. I think what took the longest is when I tried to use different kinds of wood, because I'd end up legging it to a different biome, filling my
you didn't do this in
inventory.
creative mode too.
No, this is survival mode. So I'd break 3 axes, getting as much wood as I could, then run back, dig it all out, place it, leave for a day or 2, come back, do it all over again. And this is what I spent like a summer's doing.
It's so funny how our ancestors probably did similar, where they would work all day cutting wood, legging it back, trying to build their house, and then slowly they evolved and evolved and evolved human society. Then there was Alan Turing and Ada Lovelace, and then they sort of started to build the first computer, and then we started using personal computing devices, and then they made it so that everyone could afford a personal computing device. Well, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people. And then they made Minecraft in like Sweden or something, and now we're back.
We doing the same thing. Return to monkeys.
Humans just want to cut down wood and put it somewhere else. We see a tree and we're like, that needs to be over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of cutting down wood. Okay, so
Okay.
my friend Christian Dussel,
Uh-huh.
he's like, all right, I have this vision. MIT Mythbusters, pronounced Mythbusters.
Mythbusters?
No,
How is it
Mythbusters.
spelled?
It's spelled MIT H-Busters.
Okay.
Pronounced Mythbusters. And so we got together, a bunch of the guys, and Jenna, Kings and Queen. And so we're like, all right, well, what should we do? So I'm like, okay, Minecraft. You can punch a tree, right? That's the first thing you do in Minecraft. So what we're making, we're almost done, is a tree puncher. So it has like two pneumatic pistons, some solenoid shit, and it just goes ham. We put it all together last Sunday, and we pressured it to 50 psi, and it knocked straight through. It was like a stool with like a wooden board, and just punched it down. Like, it just does not care what's in front of it. So that's exciting. We should be we have another meeting this Sunday, and we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited for that.
I have one question for you.
Yeah.
I love this idea. Which tree are you first going to punch?
Okay, so a lot of the guys were like, "Oh, just taking some random tree." I think it's a bad idea. So
It'll be
It
so
stopped
worth
again.
it.
When did it stop?
Just now.
Okay. Can we pause the timer?
Hmm?
Can we pause the timer?
Woo.
Okay, what are we
Mic check. Everyone who's named Mike, please stand up.
this concludes the mic check.
Yes.
Wonderful. So now that we know that there are no mics here, or are there?
I don't know. It could be. Okay. Wait.
Hmm.
How would you define standing up?
How would I define?
Like
Because like standing straight up is like standing straight up, but like, what counts as standing up?
You can stand up for.
You stand down.
You can stand up for justice.
can stand
Also,
down.
up is a relative term.
It is.
Like we usually referred up as in terms of the earth out,
Oh, I refer to the movie.
Radially.
radially.
So it's
Wait.
the R. It's
Oh.
our hat.
You know what?
It's our hat.
It's our hat?
Yeah.
Is it?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
So
should
where's
be.
the unit normal?
Our
It
hat.
usually goes with our hat.
Yeah.
So, but we could put it somewhere else.
Well, you could go
And
negative
then-
actually,
our
when you
hat,
thi-
but like,
if you get really
Because you
specific,
can stand up, but you can also stand down.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
can you stand? Oh,
You definitely
wait.
can stand down,
Wait
but, like,
a
I don't know what that
second.
means anymore,
No, you
'cause,
can
like-
sit down, but you can't stand down.
Yes.
Weird, like,
What
you
did
tell
the-
somebody to
What
stand
did
down.
the police say?
Okay, but like that's
Stand
a
down.
different thing, though.
But
it's
okay.
standing
But you
and
can
down.
stand up for justice.
That's not physically. Well, no, that can be
You
physically
can be a
standing.
stand-up comedian.
But you could also sit down and be a
You can
comedian.
Do stand-up.
You can. Can you do sit down?
Yeah.
You're thinking
I
about
mean,
this.
no, but yeah,
Yes,
you can do.
but it's not the kind of stand up that we're talking about here.
Oh, okay.
You
yeah.
can get stood up.
Ooh. Okay.
It's like the stand up where you stand, but you physically stand and stand up using your legs. You become vertical, or you enter the R hat direction.
You enter.
Unless
Wait, what direction are we in now?
Well, it's not that weird because most of us is still in our hat. It's just the thighs.
The thighs.
The thighs are in what?
Thick
Probably
thighs
beta
save
hat?
lives.
yes.
With some sort of hat.
No, they can also be in K hat.
None of us are wearing hats. Maybe Mike's wearing a hat.
Who's Mike?
We don't know.
Mike
he hasn't stood
Oxlong.
up yet.
You know
Or
Mr.
maybe
Oxlong.
he stood us up.
I had to. I'm not
Okay.
sorry.
Mike stood us up.
Mike stood us up.
Yeah.
But don't we want Mike to stand up though? Because like if you're standing up, you want Mike to stand up with you.
Mike's a stand-up guy. Or is he? Because he stood us up.
Is Mike a guy?
We don't know.
Is Mike?
As long as...
Well.
Listen. We've already checked. That's all we can do.
Yeah, we did do the mic check.
We did do the mic check.
did do the mic
so
check.
there's that.
And now we can actually restart the...
Yes, possibly. What were we talking about?
What were we talking about?
I was talking about the tree fist.
You were talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
the tree.
The tree
Punching
punching.
trees. Are you going to punch a live tree at some point?
I feel like we should not, but we might. It's up for debate.
You can do
There's
the ring
only
with
so
the tree.
much I can do, right? Like it's
I-
democracy, right? So
Well,
like
I feel
they
like
want
you have to go to like some type of... Because
forest.
you couldn't do it on like on protected land, like the like national parks or whatever.
Oh yeah, we definitely could not go to Killian and bust down one of those trees.
Well,
That's
that's
that
private
half of the
property.
community would be like, "How dare you? We love those trees. Those are nice trees.
Those are nice
They
trees.
are
Yeah.
very good trees. Killian Court has extremely pretty trees.
Gillian Court, the court with the dome.
The court with the dome that we're on.
Well, one of the domes.
We're not on the dome.
Yes,
well,
we
we
are
are
on
on the
the
We're
dome.
on the dome.
We are on the dome.
Yeah,
We've returned to the wordplay.
Uh-huh.
Oh god.
It's back.
Lord have mercy.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, we were thinking about making a secondary, like, after podcast called Off the Dome. And then you would be on the On the Dome podcast.
Yes, I followed. Haha.
Well, right now we're off the On the Dome podcast.
We are off.
In other words, we are
We're
on the
off
dome.
from being on the Dome
Okay,
podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the first two off and on. Yeah.
Right.
Followed.
So when we're on the dome, we're still in our hat. From the dome.
Not entirely. You can also enter the theta hat direction. Only partially, though. You have a component in the theta hat direction.
Of course. Well,
Yeah.
it depends on where on the dome we are.
It could also be in k hat direction. That is true.
Right.
So if you were to stand...
Did you take a physics exam today?
No.
We
That's
did.
crazy. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, this is why.
You did.
Yeah, I did. Right hand rule.
We did.
We did.
Or left hand rule with your thumb in.
Yeah, but why would you?
You walk into
If
the
you're
physics...
right-handed, no, because like this is so convenient for like left-handed people, right? They're like just like writing stuff, exam stuff, and then they can just use their right hand. But me being right-handed, like
Mhm.
like the proper human being should be,
Yeah.
I just do this, and it's handy. I'd be writing and then using my, oh my gosh, induced current, yes sir, just like that.
Okay, but like here's another question for you, because the right hand rule exists, but there's also an opposite of the right hand rule. So when you're dealing with negative charges, it's like the opposite of whatever the right hand rule tells you, correct?
Well,
Yeah.
just use the left hand properly.
Exactly. Who switches to the left hand? Because I
Not
do.
me.
You don't?
I don't.
E. Okay.
No, maybe it's B, but not E.
It could be K.
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
if we want to be inclusive, it could be S.
Could it be S?
Pointing vector. E and B. E cross B.
Might
Over
be.
mu naught.
Oh yes, mu naught, my favorite constant.
Physics is so interesting because I think about it so much, but never in context of like anything that it would be useful for. What I mean by that is
Okay.
what-
No, sorry.
go ahead.
No, what were you
No,
gonna
no,
say?
go
No, I was
ahead,
gonna
go
say that like you said that it was interesting, but you're not sure what it would be useful for, which is kind of interesting because physics is the thing that is technically everywhere.
What I mean by that is I make a lot of analogies in terms of like real world stuff,
Yes.
but not in terms of physical. Like I'll make an analogy about literary stuff using physics ideas, but when I'm trying to build something, I'm never thinking about physics.
I cannot agree.
I don't build
I do
that
not
much
relate.
physical stuff in my day to day.
Neither do I guess. Technically. Sorry.
To narrate what's just happening for the audio only listeners, Gerardo and Malachi are trying out their best eyebrow expressions.
I literally
Eyebrow
just
speak.
realized there's an audio only version of this.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Follow us on Spotify.
If you're listening on Spotify, thank you. We appreciate it, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
can thank Malachi for this very
Ah.
nice audio.
Ah.
Yes.
Thank you, Malachi.
Thank the mic.
Mike's not here. We've
Thank-
checked.
Oh my
Ah,
God.
no.
Y'all killing me.
Like, get a sticky note. Leave a thank you note.
We will.
All right. I'll make sure to do that.
Yes.
Doody doody doo.
For Mike.
Yes. Anyways, we're talking about physics and analogies, and I kind of want
Right.
to branch off of that because
Okay.
I find it important how. What was this motion?
Branching.
Branching. That's.
For the video listeners.
Yes. Anyways, so, where was I going with this? I was trying to say that I think it's super important to have a lens in which you can see the world through, and it's kind of cool how you can have a default when it comes to analogies
Right.
of different way of putting
Mhm.
things that you observe in the world in terms that other people can understand. It's in a sense its own language. For example, like video games.
Okay.
My roommate and I make a lot of video game analogies to my roommate about
Mhm.
things that are completely unrelated to video games.
Right.
Could I name one off the top of my head right now? I could not.
It'd have to be like.
But I know what happens.
Yes.
Yes.
I've noticed at MIT, this is extremely common. Math analogies for just
Oh,
everything.
no.
It's at dinner. Like,
I've modeled my energy waves throughout the days and weeks using a sine curve.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, Fourier series. Are we gonna have another podcast where we just talk about Fourier series? Maybe. But yeah, like we were at, actually the best example of this. So our dorm, Simmons, had a free boba event a few days ago, and we were all standing. It was a circular table, and we were all outside. We were standing there, and they said form a line, and people did not form a line in the traditional definition of forming a line. They all crowded around the table, and some guy next to us was like, does this count as a line? Well, does one person count as a line, though? I suppose you could, like, if n people are in a line, and if you go infinitely, does it need to be two people for it to define a line? And could this be considered a, and I looked at one of our other friends, and I was just like, this is exactly what I expect.
Was he course 18?
No, this is just some guy. Well, he might have been course 18. But even at dinner, it's like we talk about what number of basis vectors do you need to describe every attribute of someone's personality? Like if you each
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
Wait a minute.
like if like there are different basis vectors of like one scale of like an attribute, how many basis vectors will you need to describe every person?
A lot, but it's not infinite. Wait, every person?
Every currently or past existing person. Let's not include the future for this.
Yeah, that'd be.
It's a lot, but it's not infinite.
Yeah, I was thinking
I don't even think it'd be that many.
I think if you generalize a little bit,
Yeah.
if you make them intangibles, such as like, well, I mean, personality tests are essentially doing that. It's
Yeah.
assume that the questions are basis vectors. And assume that unlike, the Pottermore quizzes, it's not just like asking you your favorite color worded slightly differently in 4 different ways.
It's red.
Do you want to fight a dragon and wear red, or do you want to be evil and wear green?
Blue.
I'd be down for
Blue.
both.
Ravenclaw. Ravenclaw?
Yeah. I like green and red.
What's a
Those are two
Ravenclaw?
Have you read
So
Harry
like
Potter?
there's a raven and then it's like
No.
a bird. So then birds have claws. So then
That's true.
that's the
Actually,
Although
but it's not a
supposedly-
raven. This is
what is it?
So it's an eagle, because an eagle has a raven, a black claw. It's very interesting. It is an eagle officially, but a lot of the officially merchandised merch,
The merchy
merchandise,
merch.
officially
Not the
merchandised
unmerchy.
merchandise
The merchy merch.
from like Harry Potter, World or any other subsidiary, has ravens on it, which is not accurate to the book. It's supposed to be an eagle,
That's
a
crazy.
raven, black claw.
That's
Anyways,
like getting
you
a
should read
dolphin
Harry
for a
Potter.
mascot and calling it an orca. No.
It's painted
Orcas
black.
are dolphins. They're
No,
not
they're
whales.
not. They're whales.
They're not whales.
They're killer whales.
No, they're not.
What
I
do you
know
mean
about-
they're dolphins?
I know they're not whales. Biologically, they're not whales.
They're biologically
They're
speaking,
biologically
they're not
dolphins.
I believe so. They're definitely not whales. I believe biologically they're in the same family as a dolphin. I
You
know
gotta
this
be
because
cat.
we have
Wait, so
There's
sorry.
no shot.
we have a lot of orcas where I'm from.
Is it a subspecies of dolphin?
I think it and dolphins are subspecies of the same thing. I don't know if it's called officially dolphins. It might be like, you know how it's like
Latin.
dogs are like canines?
Yes.
It might be something like that where dolphins and orcas are some higher tree branch of whatever it is.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're mammals.
They are mammals.
It is true.
It is true.
Gosh.
Yes. We have a lot of orcas in Seattle. We have 3 native pods, the J, K, and L pods. And I believe you can matrilineally
Yeah.
track like the grandmother and then all of their kids and then who their kids mated with and then all of their kids for like a few, like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 generations back, and you can they can recognize each of the orcas that are native to our area. It's crazy. Orcas are cool.
I've never seen one in real life.
Same.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
They're cool.
I should
Yeah.
go to Seattle
You should
just
go to
to see the
Seattle.
orca.
You should go to Seattle.
Potentially. Wait.
There's a lot of cool things in Seattle.
Like orcas.
That's true.
You know what's really cool? So Boeing is based in Seattle.
Based.
And Boeing is based in Seattle. And what they do is they'll do a factory tour where you can go on the catwalks above the factory and see the planes being made. It's so cool.
That's very nice.
Time to go to Seattle.
I don't know how
Yeah.
someone can conceptualize making something that big and complicated. I mean, one person doesn't do it, but...
Facts, yeah.
Well, originally one person two people. The Wright brothers?
But like it wasn't that big. Like you gotta
wasn't
think
that
of
big.
how big was it? Maybe like a couple
I actually don't know.
dozen feet.
A couple
Awesome.
Malachis, at
Yes.
least.
Yeah,
Probably
it's
like two
kinda like
Malachis lying down and then
4,
3 on the other way.
5.
A smoot is one unit of measure that the school already uses, and I have become another.
I think a Malachi is slightly more useful than a smoot. So a smoot is the guy...
Oliver Smoot.
Oliver Smoot from an MIT fraternity, who was at the time, I believe, 5'4", who was asked as a hazing event to measure the... Which bridge? Was it the Harvard Bridge?
The Harvard Bridge.
It's a
Harvard
hazing
Bridge.
event. It's no longer as cool. Sorry.
It was like
continue.
hazing-ish, but he was asked to measure the Harvard Bridge, and he measured it in himself. I believe that the story goes that Oliver Smoot is no longer a Smoot long. He has shrunk a little bit.
He shrunk. Oh, I thought he was 5'7", so he might be 5'4" now. That would be.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Yeah,
But Malachi, you're taller than that.
a little
Yes.
bit.
Very
Give or
Just
take.
a little bit.
Give or take. How tall are you? Give it to me in centimeters.
I cannot give it to you in centimeters.
It's like 2.5
Wait,
centimeters
hold on.
per inch.
2.4.
If there's 30 centimeters in a foot,
Well, no, but yeah, it's close.
Sure.
around
Let's go
there.
with it. Let's go with that.
round. Okay. So if we do a little bit of that.
There's 100
Okay.
centimeters in a meter about.
Mm-hmm.
There's exactly 100 centimeters in a meter. There's about
Or in a
100
yard.
centimeters in a yard. Yeah.
Yeah. While
4
Malachi
is equal to
calculates.
10.
How tall are you? Just give me in inches. The feet and inches. You can give me in inches and I'll do the math. But like preferably.
What, around 190?
So you're 6'3"?
Around there.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm only slightly shorter than Malachi.
Only slightly.
Yeah.
Within an order of magnitude, I'd
Within
say.
an order of magnitude,
Yeah.
yes. Depending on which units, though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. What? No. I think I'm still within an order of magnitude.
If you say feet, then yeah.
Yeah.
But if you say like nanometers, I feel like we're a bit off.
Yeah. This, I think, is a perfect example of seeing the world in terms of, like, numbers or physics or measurements now that I feel like maybe I didn't do before. I feel like everything is becoming Fourier series and sinusoids and math equations and springs and k-hat.
That's just a fancy way of saying you got nerdier.
And you didn't?
No, I definitely did. Don't get me wrong.
Yes. We're all getting nerdier.
You look at the
Or
world.
we're
it's-
getting different lenses to bring it back to what you were saying.
That is true. Yes. Yes.
We're going to need an entire camera bag, all these lenses we got.
Yeah.
Lenses law.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Lenses-
another one.
oh,
My favorite.
Yeah.
We
Probably
never really
not.
went over. So the lenses law is the negative. Is that it?
It's just the
It's just the negative, right?
lenses law is a minus.
Oh yeah,
sign.
no, it's just the minus.
That
sign.
is just the. Okay.
It's just the minus
Yeah,
sign.
that's why. Because like
It's-
nobody
it's
ever like.
crazy. It's just a
mentioned it.
concept.
It's just like yeah.
I
it's-
love that they made.
It opposes.
I love that they said this is an equation on its own, but the minus sign that's
Lance's
a
law.
nice minus sign.
Yeah.
We want an equation. We want to name that minus sign after a guy.
He's important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's a significant minus sign, then like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
would
like,
love
did they
that
not
to
know
be-
that before he like what came first, Lenz's law or like the
They-
rest of the equation?
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, it was the chicken, right?
I think it has
Possibly.
to be the egg.
Okay. Here's my answer. It's the egg, but a chicken didn't lay it.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
never mind,
Yeah.
my fault. Yeah.
Fish. Yeah?
Sure.
Because at least, as far as we know, in terms of the evolution of life, in our sample size, fish may have been fish being a very broad term.
Fish.
Yeah. Some type of
Something
fish.
had to lay an egg, and then a chicken came out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I really want to see the tree puncher.
Oh yeah, we'll film it. We're gonna have a YouTube channel for Mythbusters, and
We
we'll
can do
drop it.
collabs.
we could do collabs.
Can I have an ad segment on your YouTube video? And
Sure.
you can have an ad segment on the podcast.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Perfect. Synergy.
Yes.
I'm doing
Collaboration.
for the audio only listeners. I'm doing a hand effect where my hands are slowly coming together.
That's the motion from Tenet.
Yes.
Yes.
My
Yeah.
favorite movie. So good.
It is
I
a very
love
good
Tenet.
movie.
I
I
Oh,
watched it.
yeah.
love Tenet. You should. It's so good.
We gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that's what we'll do right now, because I think we're gonna call the podcast here.
Let's go.
Yes.
Okay.
Good job. Anyways, thank you so much for listening, and this has been On the Dome. We did it! Finally!
Easy.
Did it kind of